What's going on, everyone? My name is Security Denied, and welcome back to yet another Dev Insight article article by Bungie. Last one was a doozy. They showed off that this next update is gonna be it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna pack a punch. This one is going to be covering weapons, artifacts, and focusing preview. I've been curious about what they're gonna do with artifacts because in the last one, we noticed that the weapons have like intrinsic overload or intrinsic anti-barrier and stuff like that. So I wonder what they're going to be changing with artifacts now that they're moving that just to the weapons. All right, let's get it going. Before we dig in, we wanted to take a moment to thank you. Seeing your reactions has been really moving to us. Frankly, we wouldn't be here without you. And the way you continue to show up for this world means more than we can fully put into words. This is very bolded. Every memory and every moment you've shared with us over these years has fueled our future. Destiny 3. Copium. Every ounce of our June update is for you, and we hope you feel it as you continue to read through our inside articles and upcoming twids. Let alone when you're playing the update with us on June 9th. Yeah, it's a bit sappy and sentimental, but that's how we're feeling, and while reading all of your stories over the last week, we hope to keep building worlds to inspire friendship for years to come, and truly couldn't do it without you and your voices. Again, thank you for being here and for sticking with us. So stick it out is what you're telling us. It's all bolded. Alright, let's get to the goods. Dev Insight number 2 starts now. Greetings, Guardians. We're here today to share the many balance changes and updates that the Destiny 2 dev team has been working on for the Monument of Triumph update coming June 9th. It's a long article, so here's a list of the main topics you'll find in it. The new weapon tier upgrading system, tier upgrading for crafted weapons, buffs to many exotics like Anarchy, the Lament, and Vex Mythoclast, including new catalysts and improvements for previous ones. Balance updates to most legendary weapon types, including an overall buff to primary weapon damage in PvE. Huge. Targeted buffs to most special weapons for PvE. Many legendary perks, fixes, and buffs. A preview of the very customizable Artifact 2.0, including new ways to counter champions, saving your choices in loadouts. Oh, that's nice. Updates to vendors, weapon focusing, and gear attunement. Alright, introducing weapon tier upgrading. Hi Guardians, this is the Sandbox team, here to talk about weapon tier upgrading, a new system releasing with the Monument of Triumph that will allow players to upgrade their weapon's gear tier for a cost to access additional enhanced perks and even the gear tier 5 cosmetics. We wanted players to still feel as though lower tier drops can have value, especially if you spike into the exact role you want, with a want for higher tier gear to have an easier time getting that perfect role due to multi-perk. All weapons integrated into the gear tiering system will be eligible to undergo tier upgrading, including those that have already dropped and are resting within your vault. In the weapon inspection screen, there will be a new weapon mod socket where you can apply a mod for a cost that will upgrade your weapon to the next applicable gear tier. While this new upgrading path allows a player to unlock all of the enhanced perk benefits of tier 5 gear as well as access the unique tier 5 cosmetics, it can add perks to the columns of your weapon, meaning if you haven't quite found your god role or you prefer a weapon with additional options in its column, you may still want to chase multi-perk drops. To add a bit more value to Gear Tier 3 in lieu of it being mainly about unlocking multi-perk today, we've shifted the unlock of enhanced mods to this gear tier for all weapons. Below is an example of the mod players will see at Gear Tier 1 that upon application by the player for a cost will upgrade the left and right traits to enhanced traits. Alright, so there is the Tier 2 upgrade. Okay, doesn't cost a crazy amount. I think this is pretty good, especially if you go from a Tier 4 to a Tier 5. We'll see what that cost. Oh, right here. The final upgrade from Tier 4 to Tier 5 will therefore have unlocked all enhanced perks, enhanced mods, enhanced barrels, mags, the Masterwork stat boost, when fully masterworked, and the combat flare/ornament combo. Okay. I'm guessing it's the same cost, if they're not showing it. Exotic weapon catalysts. Okay, this is what we've been excited for. I'm excited to see the catalysts and what weapons they're adding. With Monument of Triumph being the final release for Destiny 2, we didn't want to leave any exotic behind when it came to catalysts, so we also handpicked existing legendary perks that thematically tie into each exotic weapon's story or strength. We want to keep most of these a nice surprise for you once the update hits, but here's a sneak preview of a handful of these. Chaperone Triple Tap, Parasite Envious Arsenal, Teraba Ambitious Assassin. Ooh, Teraba's gonna kick. Additionally, we also added perks to all of the oldest catalysts that only gave stat boosts to help bring them up into the same tier as more recent weapons. Here are two examples. Crimson, To the Pain. I love Crimson. Merciless, Heel Clip. Merciless got Heel Clip now? Okay. In total, we have added 25 catalysts to weapons that did not already have one, 9 perks added to existing catalysts that only had weapon stats as a bonus. Holy, that is so much work. Golly. Chaperone Catalyst might go nuts. Envious Arsenal for Parasite. It's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be nice. Terrible one. That's gonna go crazy. That's gonna be nice. We hope these help breathe some life into some new options in your arsenal. Enhancing weapon crafting. With Monument of Triumph update, adding new armor set bonuses to earn in our raid and destination content, we wanted those weapons to feel relevant again, but not necessarily ask players to regrind them under gear tiering. We know players have already put forth a lot of effort to unlock patterns throughout the game, so we wanted to treat them with some updates while giving players additional reason to finish up their patterns if they hadn't yet. As we investigated options, we concluded that we could update all crafted weapons to the power of gear tiering, but through a slightly different method involving the crafting table. Upon logging in, any legendary crafted weapon that already exists will immediately be eligible for a version of gear tier upgrading, and any newly crafted legendary weapon can be taken on the same upgrading journey. In the inspection screen of a crafted weapon, navigating to the weapon level boost icon, there will be a new mod that will allow you to also improve the tier of the weapon upon reaching specific weapon levels. Oh, I like it. I like it. On a crafted weapon, a gear tier will act a bit differently than other weapons, as it won't immediately provide the gear tier benefits. At gear tier 3, players will unlock enhanced weapon mods, and at gear tier 5, it will unlock cosmetics just like any other weapon in the gear tier system. However, for all other tiers, it will correspond with the unlocking of enhanced components at the crafting table. When you reach weapon level 11, you can upgrade to gear tier 2, and just like with a fresh tiered weapon drop, you'll gain access to enhanced left and right column traits. At weapon level 25, you can upgrade to gear tier 4 and add enhanced components like barrels or magazines. At level 30, you'll upgrade to gear tier 5 and can add enhanced origin traits. Origins will behave a bit differently than most perks in the crafting table as well. The menu will showcase all available origin traits, and the selection of any enhanced perk to insert will reflect in the entire column being enhanced upon selecting Reshape. The same is true vice versa. If you wish to return to base traits, selection of any base trait for the origin column will still allow the other weapons to be available after, or other options to be available after reshaping. All right. Sick. This is cool. Because the sandbox has evolved and changed since some of these destination and raid weapons entered crafting, we've also updated them to have some additional new trade options, 2 new traits per column. Clever Eyes will note that Supercharged Magazine and Jolting Feedback have been added to Oversoul Edict above. Other non-raid destination crafted weapons won't have new perks, but they are receiving enhanced origin traits for the first time. And we did revisit a few of those underperforming origins, including Head Rush, which now activates on a slide and provides a small boost in damage against Hive opponents. Nice. We also haven't forgotten about Raid Adept weapons, and they will gain all the same benefits. These weapons will still gain additional traits based on the number of patterns collected from their non-adept counterparts and are eligible to swap out their components like barrels, mags, and at the crafting relic. They'll also continue to upgrade their traits via the original enhancement feature. With Monument of Triumph, however, these raid adepts will gain access to the tier upgrade mod like crafted weapons and can visit the relic to upgrade to enhanced components and enhanced origins. These weapons will also still retain a bit of an extra stat boost on top of their non-adept counterparts and their unique adept shader to add a bit of prestige for those who've gone through the challenge of acquiring them. Weapon sandbox updates. Let's see what they have been cooking for the sandbox that is going to last forever. This isn't just this season. This is going to be forever. This is the meta. They're basically about to describe the meta for the next ever. Ammo system changes. The ammo system has received buffs to underperforming weapons, nerfs to outliers, and several bug fixes to quality of life improvements. General. We have modified the ammo system so that if any enemy is floating above a pit, they will not drop an ammo brick when defeated, even if it fills the meter. You will continue to gain ammo meter progress, but your next kill on an enemy that is not above a pit will spawn the owed ammo brick instead. Blessed. I can't tell you how many freaking enemies I have killed over pits, and I have watched my heavy brick fall into the abyss. This beautiful change. Beautiful change. Special ammo weapons. We took a baseline swing at making double special slightly less viable for ad clear. Outside of that role, this change is generally offset by the damage buffs previously given to non-rocket pulse special ammo weapons. So while it may require one more kill to earn a brick, it may also require less shots overall to kill targets. Reduce the amount of meter progress special ammo weapons gain from defeats against minor enemies by 17% at 100 ammo gen stat. Linear fusion rifles. Both special ammo and heavy ammo precision linear fusion rifles felt like they were not getting enough ammo per brick, so we have increased the amount for each. Heavy ammo precision LFRs base increased from 3 to 5, enhanced increase from 4 to 6. Special ammo precision LFRs base increase from 3 to 5, enhanced increase from 6 to 10. Nice. That's going to make them feel a lot better. Just the ammo economy is going to feel better for them. Buried Bloodline. Corrected an issue where Buried Bloodline was not correctly getting additional ammo from enhanced ammo bricks. Choir of One. Choir of One is simply too free in terms of ammo both in isolation and in double special builds. It's one of the only special weapons that didn't follow the standard rules for ammo brick values. These changes make this weapon follow those rules. Base returned from 45 to 35, enhanced reduced from 90 to 70. Rest in peace, my man, Sax. Choir of One, adept, man, got nerfed. Sorry, buddy. Rocket Pulse Rifles. A bug was causing rocket pulses to have double the ammo when used with other special ammo weapons. For example, running 2 rocket pulses at the same time was entirely viable because they both got full ammo brick amounts instead of half. This has the effect of reducing the challenge of endgame content and invalidating other special weapons. Fixed an issue that was sometimes causing rocket pulses to only earn 2 shots per base brick. Fixed an issue where Sciaturna was not correctly having its ammo per brick increased by scavenger mods. Thank you. I love Sciaturna, but I was not getting a lot of ammo. Fixed an issue where legendary rocket pulses were not correctly having their ammo per brick split when used with a second special weapon. Only in Crucible. Some Crucible-specific changes were needed to reduce special ammo uptime that was fueled by non-primary weapon use. Reduce the point gains from special ammo and heavy ammo kills and assists and super kills by 33%. Reduce glaive melee gains by 20%. Glaive in Crucible is an abomination, and I hate it, but it works. Adaptive Burst LFRs get too much ammo from heavy crates for how potent they are compared to other options. Reduce Adaptive Burst LFR ammo from crates from 5 to 3. Fair enough. Rapid fire machine guns felt like they weren't getting enough ammo from crates, so we've increased this value. Increased rapid fire LMG ammo from crates from a maximum of 45 to a maximum of 62 based on magazine size. Other LMGs remain capped at 22. Bitter End's ammo from crates has been reduced to fit within this scale. Exotic weapon tuning. Oh baby, let's get into it. With Monument of Triumph, we also have a wide assortment of exotic weapons adjustments for you to enjoy. Have a look at what we've changed. The Jade Rabbit, one of the best scout rifles in the game. The Jade Rabbit has long been a choice pick in PvP on specific builds and specific maps, but has seen little play elsewhere. We've made some rather significant adjustments to help its gameplay feel a bit less clunky and have it some more life in PvE activities. Increased the magazine size from 10 to 15. Removed Zen Moment, added Shoot to Loot and Firefly as the two traits. Okay. Fate of All Fools, increased the maximum stat cap to 15. In addition to chaining precision hits, precision kills can now add a stack. Gaining a stack now refills the magazine and increases stability. Stacks will no longer be completely removed when you reload. Dealing direct body shot damage will still remove one stack. Scales the damage of Firefly when it is active, and dealing splash damage will not remove a stack of the perk. That's quite nice. That's quite a nice change. Catalyst, in addition to adding stability, special reloading will consume all stacks of Fate of All Fools and grant a singular micro missile round, which deals bonus damage based on the number of stacks consumed. What? I'm sorry. What? For the Jade Rabbit Scout Rifle? You're just giving it a rocket pulse shot? Just cuz? And it's unstoppable. Nice. Good changes. Jade Rabbit is going to be very loved in PvE. Vex Mythoclast, a weapon I still don't have because I've only done the raid like twice. As the sandbox evolved, Vex Mythoclast felt like it lagged behind other raid weapons in terms of strength in PvE content. We wanted to give the linear fusion of shots something extra to help them feel worth the kill requirements to charge them. And we updated the intrinsic and catalyst to help make acquiring those kills a little easier. Timeless Mythoclast, the intrinsic, now has what is comparably a more potent version of rewind rounds while in full auto mode. You realize what you've done, Bungie. You realize what you've done. It's going to be the best special weapon in the game. Temporal Unlimiter trait. Precision kills with linear fusion rifle shots now trigger an ignition. After leaving linear fusion rifle mode, the magazine is now fully reloaded. The HUD buff and magazine display have been tweaked to show the exact amount of linear fusion shots remaining. This is a purely visual change. Functionality remains the same. Calculated balance. The catalyst. Sustained damage can now also activate the catalyst in addition to kills. Added a HUD buff. Okay. Good changes. Good changes. Touch of Malice. A weapon that I have and have never used. Despite multiple previous changes, Touch of Malice has not lived up to its Destiny 1 glory days. We've made a few changes, baseline and to its catalyst, that will help it build into a potent exotic primary weapon through skilled play and build crafting. Increased final round bonus damage by 10%. Set it up so the special reload can be made faster by buffing reload speed. Replace rapid hit with the catalyst with precision instrument. Beautiful. Gain increased stability and reload speed with each stack of Charged with Blight. The last word, infamous hand cannon. Gotta love it. Much like many of our text weapons, the last word sits on a razor's edge between being extremely potent on a single input type or feeling tough to get value out of. This update will make it feel more viable on M&K without totally tipping those power scales. Increased stability on M&K by 10%, increased aim assist when hip firing on M&K by 10%. Looks like last words back on the menu, boys. Mida Multi-Tool. In PvE content, we wanted Mida Multi-Tool to further lean into building up modifications over the course of an activity. While we're happy with how this landed, we wanted to lower how many kills are required for each to reach that final modification. We also adjusted the catalyst by a small amount to give it more utility in more situations. Lowered the PvE combat kill requirement from 10 kills per modification, 15 with macro tool, to 7 kills per modification, 10 with macro tool. This lowers the total kill requirement from 40 or 60 to 27/40 to acquire all modifications. The catalyst's improved radar resolution now remains active for a few seconds when you still multi-tool instead of immediately deactivating. Multi-tool still needs to be in your hands for the catalyst to activate. Heirloom. Great. Heirloom can be a potent option if you opted into its particular flavor of playstyle on its initial release, but it both did not feel worth the effort and did not live up to players' expectations of being a dungeon exotic weapon. We've made a number of adjustments here to help it flow a bit better as well as hit even harder versus high priority targets. Increased charge rate by 20%. Increased impact damage of charged shots by 20% in PvE only. Reduced extra heat generated by charged shots by 7%. Okay, increased damage versus mini-boss and champion targets by 20%. Increased damage versus boss targets by 10%. Added incandescent perk to Catalyst. Holy, they're going all in. Teraba. It felt odd for Teraba to not reward you for all for defeats. So we have remedied that while also building more tie-ins into the solar kit to let you get to the Ravenous Beast mode more often. Dealing damage to scorched combatants grants increased Ravenous Beast progress by 33%. Can generate full meter if all the mag hits on a scorched enemy. Wow. Kills grant greatly increased progress, 10% per kill. Very nice change. Very nice. Anarchy. Once Finality's Augur was released, Anarchy felt like it no longer had a place as a point defense trap system. So, we are amping up its trap capabilities to be more competitive versus Finality's Augur. Increase armed trap lifetime by 50% from 10 to 15 seconds. Increase trap damage versus combatants by 30%. Doubled trap detonation damage versus combatants to better match the per tick damage of a trap. Replace moving target with impromptu ammunition. Very nice, Bungie. Very nice. Anarchy might be back on the menu. Divinity. Always used in every encounter. After all this time, we felt it was fair to bring Divinity back up at least a little bit so that the dedicated Divinity user in your group didn't feel like they were wielding a sluggish gun and missing out on some damage. Increased damage of penance by 20%. Reduce time to activate penance from 4 to 3 seconds. Reduce shots to activate the cage from 14 to 10. Very nice. Very good change. Winterbite. Winterbite is an extremely solid workhorse glaive, but it feels overly punishing to shoot the projectile while in CQC. Reduce self-damage of the projectile by 66%. Edge of action, concurrence, and intent. The class glaive should feel like the apex power for an exotic version of a legendary glaive, so we are upping their charge rates of the special shots when you are fully engaged in a glaive loop. Rev up those doomsticks. Glaive projectiles now grant double progress towards special shot. Wow. You just made them better. I don't know if I'll use it because they basically just do what abilities do, but worse. So I don't know if I'll use them, but I don't even know if I have them all. Do I even have the Hunter one? I don't even know if I have them. Oh well, Hierarchy of Needs. We've updated Hierarchy of Needs to make its seekers more interactive and build friendly, helping them better follow your precision shots through the guidance ring. Apply Scorch for build crafting synergy and feel more reliable at mid-range thanks to improved hip fire accuracy. Seekers now apply plus 15, plus 5 with Ember of Ashes, Scorch to hit targets. Added hidden tracking for Seekers that guides them to the target recently hit by precision damage. Added increased hipfire accuracy to the list of benefits provided by the Catalyst. Alright, Sunshot and Graviton Lance. Beautiful weapons. Beautiful weapons. Both Sunshot and Graviton Lance have been very easy to use while also having a high impact on gameplay for a long time now, and they tend to crowd out many similar options in the sandbox. We've made a few changes to both to make them a bit less able to wipe entire encounters with one kill, while retaining their power on clumped groups. Rebalance the damage of the explosion to deal more damage up close and less damage further away. Alright. I think they'll still be good and viable. just not like clearing an entire room. You just clear out small chunks. Outbreak perfected. There's a ton of love for Outbreak, especially with it being a primary weapon that can hang with our special and heavies in endgame. In Monuments of Triumph, though, we are buffing our primaries across the board, and because of that, there was a need to reduce the delta between other strong primaries and Outbreak. Reduce damage bonus at maximum nanite stacks from 4.5 to 4. Fair enough. I mean, if everything's getting a buff, you gotta tune down an Outbreak a little bit because it's just gonna get too crazy. Arbalist. With anti-champ rolling out across all weapons in the game, Arbalist was struggling more than ever for us during testing. So, we are spot tuning that damage up a fair bit. Increase damage versus champions by 33%. Very nice. Very nice. Wardcliff Coil. Infamous original Destiny 2 weapon. Wardcliff Coil will be getting a couple of bug fixes and a sorely needed max ammo increase. Fixed a bug where firing Wardcliff Coil would not grant bolt charge if the firing player was too far off the ground. Mechanized autoloader now works while the weapon is stowed, increase maximum ammo from 5 to 8. Beautiful. Beautiful changes. The Lament. The game has changed a lot since Lament received its last nerf. To account for that, we are reverting most of the last change to help it keep pace as a potent single target option. Okay. Reverted the previous nerf to this weapon by 70%, returned most of the final combo hit damage, and self-healing the previous change reduced. Okay, so it's basically what it was. Nice. Truth has long struggled to have any kind of strong identity in Destiny 2. We all have fond memories of wild tracking shots with it from Destiny 1, but the weapon struggles to keep up in today's sandbox. We've made some changes that let it lean into its 3 in the mag and gives it a splashy secondary effect if you land all of your rockets. Now returns 1 ammo to reserves and buffs the next magazine when all rounds in the magazine hit a target. When triggered, the next magazine gains dramatically increased fire rate. Oh, stability, tracking, strength, and cluster bombs. Interesting. Thunderlord. We're making a small adjustment to Thunderlord to put it more in line with the other similar boss DPS options. Reduced ammo refunded by the Lightning Strike from 7 to 5 at base. Alright, so no basic infinite firing for Thunderlord. Fine. Whirling Ovation. Whirling needs a little help to stay competitive with weapons that aren't rocket pulses. This update should help it feel snappy with an optimized damage rotation in a variety of weapon types. Increase the amount of anticipation gained per point of damage by just over 11%. Okay. Prometheus Lens got its Scorch effect in a very different Destiny 2 sandbox, so we're giving it a bit of love to be able to keep up against other similar weapons. Increased Scorch stacks applied per trigger up to 20 plus 10 with Ember of Ashes from 10 to 10 plus 10 Ember of Ashes. Okay. So you're basically doubling it. That's nice. We like that. Centrifuge. Centrifuge's sprint reload effect felt just a touch too slow when used, slow to use as the main way you reload the weapon. So we're making it a bit easier to rely on and subsequently keep its perk at full potency. Increase the amount of magazine refilled per trigger to 10% from 4. Very nice. Slayer's Fang was a potent option when it first released, but has since fallen behind some more versatile options. We're giving it a few changes that allow you to be a bit more liberal with its usage, as well as bringing back a bit of an effect it used to have prior to its release. Increase magazine size by 2, increase reserve ammo by 10, now slowly reloads itself while its buff is active. Very nice. Xenophage. I've been waiting for this change. Once a terror of Gambit and PvE alike, Xenophage definitely has a hard time in today's sandbox. We're giving it a bit more total ammo to help it keep up with similar options and be a bit less strict on its economy. Increase reserve ammo by 10. That's quite a bit. That's a lot of ammo. I think that's good. Legendary sandbox tuning. This is going to be like probably the heavy hitters. The meta. Primary ammo weapons have struggled to keep up against combatants, especially in harder activities. so we've implemented some broad changes to help them feel better to use. Legendary primary ammo weapons increase damage versus minor combatants by 30%. Exotic primary weapons increase bonus damage versus minor combatants from 30 to 40%. Non-blaster primary weapons increase damage versus major combatants by 15%. Blaster primary weapons increase bonus damage versus major combatants from 15 to 20%. Okay. Very nice. Some special ammo weapons have dominated the sandbox, while others have felt left behind. We are making a targeted buff to all the left behind special ammo weapons to balance them out and make more archetypes. Viable to use in PvE. Special ammo weapons increase damage versus major combatants by 20%, excludes sniper rifles, rocket pulses, rocket sidearms, swords, and Choir of One. Get wrecked, Choir of One. On top of the above changes, these specific primary ammo archetypes got some additional balance tuning. Auto rifles, high impact, move RPM from 360 to 400. Reduced ADS damage fall-off scalar from 1.7 to 1.6. Reduced base damage from 24 to 22. This includes Vex Mythoclast and Sur's Regime with dual speed receiver, but excludes Cerberus plus 1 and Sweet Business in its non-spun up state. Oh. Alright. Adaptive frames increase base damage from 15 to 15.5, increase critical hit damage from 26.25 to 27.1. Pulse rifles, lightweight, reduce base damage from 19.7 to 18.8, reduce critical hit damage from 31.5 to 30.1. Legacy frame, since these weapons inherit the damage change from lightweight pulse rifles, we are reverting the nerf to their ADS damage fall-off scalar. Increase ADS damage fall-off scalar from 1.6 back to 1.7. High impact, reverted previous nerf to ADS damage fall-off scalar, increasing it from 1.6 back to 1.7. Scout rifles, rapid fire, reduce base damage from 28 to 27.3, reduce critical hit damage from 54.6 to 53.25. Hand cannons, aggressive, reduce base damage from 49 to 48.7, reduce critical hit damage from 90.65 to 90.1. Bows, increase damage versus minor combatants by an additional 20%, increase damage versus major combatants by an additional 40%. Okay. Also on top of the above changes, many special ammo weapon archetypes also got some buffs along with some nerfs to one particular archetype that won't be too surprising to see. I guess we'll see. Rocket sidearms increase projectile explosion radius by 33%. Fusion rifles, rapid fire, increase PvE damage scalar by 7%. Adaptive, increase PvE damage scalar by 10%. Precision, increased PvE damage scalar by 20%. High impact, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Shotguns, aggressive, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Improve the base stats of Fellwinter's Lie. Nice. Lightweight, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Precision, increased PvE damage scalar by 20%. Slug shotguns. Rapid fire, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Pinpoint, increased PvE damage scalar by 5%. Heavy burst, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Snipers, aggressive, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Adaptive, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Glaives, rapid fire, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Trace rifles, increased damage versus minor combatants by an additional 20%. Increased damage versus major combatants by an additional 20%. Exotic trace rifles, increase bonus damage versus minor combatants from 30 to 40%. Rocket pulses, reduce ammo generation stat of legendary micro-missile pulse rifles by 15, decrease PvE damage by 10%, decrease damage versus bosses by 25%. This is on top of the above 10%. Yikes. Reduce projectile explosion radius by 25%, reduce super generation by 25% for roamers and 33% for standard supers. Wow, rocket pulses just got gutted. Absolutely gutted. Oh well, I use other things. I don't use rocket pulses very much. Finally, heavy ammo weapons got some attention to make them more effective against bosses and champions, along with some targeted ammo tuning. Heavy grenade launchers increase damage versus bosses by champs by 5%. Rocket launchers increase damage versus bosses and champs by 5%. Crossbows increase damage versus bosses and champs by 10%. Linear fusion rifles increase the damage of all legendary LFRs versus bosses and champs by 10%. Precision increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Increased ammo reserves by 30%, excluding sleeper simulant. Okay. Machine guns increase bitter ends reserve ammo. Swords decrease cost of vortex frame heavy attack from 6 to 4 ammo to match other heavy swords. Alright. Legendary perk changes. In addition to the legendary weapon archetype tuning, we've also made some changes to legendary weapon perks. A few older damage perks felt like they were lagging behind, so we buffed these perks in order to make them more competitive choices compared with modern perks. Focus Fury. Damage bonus increase from 20% to 25%. Hits required to activate decrease from 50% of the magazine to 35% of the magazine. Full Court. Maximum explosive damage bonus increase from 25% to 35%. Okay, that's nice. Lasting Impression. Explosive damage bonus increase from 25 to 35%. Reservoir Burst. Damage bonus increase from 27.5 enhanced to 33 enhanced. Got Shot Straight. Reduce the aim assist penalty by 20% on the base perk and 25% on the enhanced perk. Fixed an issue where this perk did not work on Bitter End. Adagio. Reduce the damage bonus on hand cannons from 30% to 27%. Increase the damage bonus on shotguns and bows by 20% from 20% to 30%. The following perks receive some quality of life tuning to make them easier to activate on their own or with other build crafting elements. Collective Action, Collective Pugilism, Cooling Baubles, Elemental Charge, and Facet of Honor. Now all now share the same Tangle activator. Destroy a Tangle either by shooting it or upon impact after throwing it. Previously, this activator differed depending on the perk and would either activate when shooting a Tangle, picking up a Tangle, or throwing a Tangle, or a combination of these despite sharing the same terminology in their strings. In addition to the activator, Collective Action and Collective Pugilism also grant additional time to their durations upon throwing a Tangle. This unique behavior is called out in their descriptions. Artifact Elemental Orbs are now officially considered elemental pickups for the sake of these perks and grant the same benefits as Tangles. As such, we fixed an issue where the Artifact Arc Orbs would give Dark Transcendence energy with Facet of Honor. They now give Light Transcendence energy. Awesome. Collective Action. Fire Sprites, Void Breaches, 8 seconds. Ionic Traces, Stasis Shards, 4 seconds. Tangle Detonation, 4 seconds. Tangle Throw, 4 seconds. Instead of a flat 7 seconds, Elemental Pickup now provides differing amounts of time to the perk duration, depending on how easy they are to create. These values match Collective Pugilism. To compensate for the lower duration gained from some Elemental Pickups, the damage bonus against PvE combatants has increased from 20% to 30%. The damage bonus against players remains at 10%. Man, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Maybe I'm tired. I don't think so. The enhanced benefit no longer provides more time per pickup, but instead increases the damage bonus to 33% against PvE combatants and 11% against players. Increase max time from 12 to 16 seconds. All-Star. Damage timer is paused on weapon stow and resumed when weapon equip. Desperado. In addition to its current activator of reloading after a position kill, Desperado can now also activate when reloading after 3 rapid kills. Nice. Makes it easier to get. Frenzy fixed an issue where the enhanced version of Frenzy was not getting an extended duration when refreshed compared to standard Frenzy. Also fixed an issue where Frenzy being inactive could prevent the Crucible Origin perk from activating. Jolting Feedback. Reduce shots to activate the perk by 1 to 2 for scout rifles and hand cannons. Okay. Encore. Encore's HUD buff now displays the timer. Envious Assassin. Fixed an issue where the perk was not working on some single-shot weapons. Cascade Point. Since we removed the Ready HUD buff when the weapon is stowed, we have simplified the activation criteria for dealing precision damage with other weapons. Auto rifles, pulse rifles, SMGs, trace rifles, sidearms, LMGs, 6 critical hits. Hand cannon, scout rifles, 4 critical hits. Bows, LFRs, glaive projectiles, shotguns, sniper rifles, 2 critical hits. Electrician Orbs. Now activates in 4 hits on wave frame grenade launchers, down from 10. Now activates in 3 hits on rocket launchers, down from 6. Contending Cascade. The number of rapid final blows needed for max benefits has been reduced from 15 12 enhanced to 12 10 enhanced. Stat benefits are now maxed out when the elemental explosions are granted instead of scaling up with up to 20 rapid final blows. Full Choke. Pellet spread is now reduced by 5% instead of 3.25%. Okay. Shot Package Intrinsic. Now reduced pellet spread by 2.5% when ADS. Finally, some origin trait weaknesses were addressed to make them feel more impactful. Advanced reflexes, Dreaming City origin trait now effect plus 5% damage bonus while active, increased bonus handling from 30 to 40, increased bonus charge rate swords from 20 to 35. Gun and Run, Gambit origin trait, reworked effect, defeating targets now builds stack of Gun and Run for a short duration, sprinting for a short time consumes a stack to partially reload this weapon's magazine from reserves. On bows, this briefly improves draw speed. We read that yesterday. Nanotech Tracer Missiles, Neomono Destination Origin Trait, reduce the amount of hits needed for Basso Ostinado to activate Nanotech Tracer Missiles by roughly 1. Okay. That's a lot. That is quite a bit of changes, and that's not even all of them, especially with the exotic ones. They're like, oh yeah, we've got more. It's more changes, don't worry about it. Just experience it on your own. Like, where do they find the time to do all this? Because I feel like this update, they pushed it back like, 3 months? So similar to the time that they had to do Into the Light. Into the Light, we were like, holy shit. Like, this is so much. Like, this update is phenomenal. Okay? And then the expansions felt like, little change here, little change there, mostly story and new expansion stuff. This feels almost like a new expansion, just minus the major story beats. Okay? And they were able to pull this off like what? Like, who... I don't know when they decided that they were going to be doing this for the update. But I mean, if it was only 3 months, they could have done this the whole time with less people. It is what it is. My new favorite phrase of Destiny 2. It is what it is. Artifacts and Anti-Champion. Artifacts 2.0. With Monument of Triumph, we are reworking the artifact items in multiple ways to better align them with a modern Destiny 2 and setting it up to withstand the test of time because no more future artifacts. This means streamlining the mod selection process, removing annoyances like the refunding dance, disabling the artifact in competitive and trials modes, and finally, working in loadouts. Hallelujah. Oh, that's great. That's holy loadout slots. Oh, I'm sorry. Show me this loadout slot one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 different loadout slots. I don't mind if I yes. What this means is that we have trimmed the bloat on artifacts. Gone are the days of dedicated anti-champion columns and needing to refund mods to select ones in earlier columns. This process has been simplified into 3 buckets that functionally perform just like the columns did before, but in a way that uses the visual language of our modern game and works in a more intuitive way. Now, when you want to switch out a mod in column 4, you could just do that and substitute it out for whatever fits instead of needing to clear out later columns to be allowed to respec earlier ones. That was always so annoying. This is awesome. On top of this, we have built anti-champion capabilities directly into your guns, so you no longer must worry about your favorite guns not getting anti-champion offerings in a season, but more on that in a moment. Okay, encrypted data disk. Oh. Works best with, okay, and it tells you, like, what's going to be featured. Okay, weapon, sword, sniper, machine gun. Okay. Okay, so is this the next artifact that they're doing? Or can we, like, swap them in and out? But this is good. I like this. Alongside all these updates also come 6 new mods, defragmented and deciphered from the data disk and into your hands. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to read them across. Fierce Proxemics. Finish your final blows, grant grenade and melee energy. Blinding Jolts. Final blows on jolted combatants blinds nearby combatants. Okay, it's another way to blind. Taser Tag. Arc-powered melee hits jolt combatants and deal further damage for a short duration. So Hunter Melee's back on the menu, boys. Rapid Remedy. Machine gun rapid final blows heal you. Precision Equity. Precision final blows build progress towards a large orb of power that also grants bonus weapon damage on pickup. Higher rank targets grant more progress. Sticker Shock. Arc Flux, Magnetic, and Fusion grenades deal more damage when attached to combatants. On final blows, they release several micro missiles that seek nearby combatants. Wow. But wait, there's more? For eagle-eyed readers, you may have noticed that we keep referring to artifacts in the plural. I did not notice that. I was just reading it. Oh. Am I just that stupid? And it's for a good reason. Artifacts for the past 6 years have been served to shift around the meta season over season, encouraging you to try new things by giving some borrowed power. This model doesn't really work without seasons, so we're breaking the bank and not just offering one artifact, but a whopping 7 artifacts pulled from seasons past. 7 artifacts. 7 artifacts. 7. In case you were curious, there's 7 artifacts that we get to switch out, just like this. Just like that. Wow. So we get to build our own metas? That's great. That's nice. Good change. Good change. Because I was wondering, I was like, well, if they're keeping this artifact, then, like, are we just going to be stuck in, like, lightsaber meta forever? We can make our own metas. Beautiful. Get down. Gone are the days of Guardians make their own fate. No. Guardians make their own metas. And that's what this is for. Perfect. These selections were all made to cover as many fan-favorite weapons, elements, and perks as possible, and we believe will give you a treasure trove of build crafting opportunities for years to come. They won't be coming back perfectly identical, though. In the past 6 years, the artifacts have shifted quite a bit from the days of glimmer mods to anti-champion abilities, taking up a large swath of slots to the 7-row structure and finally to boosts. We took a long look at each artifact and did not only a balance pass to make sure they could live in the perpetually looking at you flashover, but also how we could integrate the best of all versions of the artifacts to be available in a single build crafting ecosystem. Queen's Foil Sensor. Okay. I can't read, but these are good changes. We look forward to seeing what y'all build and how you combine these with the incredibly deep pool of new set bonuses and weapons. Good change. Artifacts. Build your own meta is basically what this is going to be. It's amazing. Anti-Champion 2.0. With the removal of the first 2 columns of each artifact, we needed to find a new home for all our champion counter effects. Given the nature of this final release, we decided to roll access to these effects into the intrinsic perks of every weapon in the game. Yes, every weapon, even exotics. We also made the decision to remove any activation criteria to all these effects, no matter which you are using. Simply firing the weapon will apply the associated effect immediately, assuming you land your shots, of course. Okay, so I don't have to, like, sit there and scope the whole time and waiting for the perk to activate. Beautiful change. Beautiful. Alright, weapon type, aggressive, unstop, high impact, unstop, precision, barrier, adaptive barrier, lightweight, overload, rapid fire, overload. This covers most of the weapons in the game. Here are the more niche intrinsic frames received. Support, AR, overload, adaptive burst, LFR, barrier, area denial, breach, grenade. You can read. I don't want to read all these. There's a lot of very specific ones. Read it and weep. Exotic weapons each got the effect that most reflected how the exotic itself behaved. Here are a few interesting examples, but we'll let you all discover the rest once Monument of Triumph releases. Barodiad Overload, that's if we can get it, because right now it's unavailable and I don't have it. Izanadi's Burden, Barrier, Trinity Ghoul, Overload, Xenophage, Unstop, Parasite, Barrier, Yotun, Unstop. Nice. Xenophage, what a guy. Yep, and then it's just displaying it down there. Oh. Cataphract GL3. Is that a new look? The pledge. Ooh. That's all for us here on the artifacts. The sandbox is going to be shifting drastically in Monument of Triumph, and we look forward to seeing the powerful builds y'all put together using both old and new pieces from our Guardian story legacy. Vendor updates. With this release, many of your favorite vendors across the tower are getting an update. Reputation, rank reward tracks are returning to many of the vendors. Thank goodness. I love that. Shax of all Same 14, Zer, Banshee 44, and even your old pal Drifter. We've also expanded their focusing options significantly, as well as some other vendor-specific updates that we'll touch on below. Focus tiered gear. Focusing for tiered gear is now available on many vendors across the tower. This includes newly added gear, as well as gear from across the last several releases, for example, the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, Renegades. Weapons will be focusable at Tier 3 and Tier 4, depending on the player's power level. With the addition of upgradable weapons, you can take any rolls you get from the focusing and upgrade them to Tier 5, while activities will remain the best and most consistent source of natural Tier 5 weapons. However, because armor is not upgradable, focusable armor will go up to Tier 5. Nice. Here's how gear focusing will work on vendors. General, weapons will be focusable at Tier 3 or Tier 4. Tier 3, 300 to 399 power. Tier 4 equals 400 plus power. Tiered weapons may be upgraded to Tier 5. Armors will be focusable based on power level. Tier 3, 300 to 399 power. Tier 4, 400 to 519 power. Tier 5, 520 plus. 801. Updated 801 shader inventory. Added additional shaders. Thank goodness. There's a lot that I'm missing. Year 1 shader pack. Shaders. Blessed. 4 unreleased shaders. Alchemy Scorch, Bone Meal Loam, Brine Glow, and Charred Plumage. Increased number of available shaders per week from 3 to 6. Chef's kiss. Still randomly rotates through available shaders each week. Updated 801's Legacy Armor to no longer be on rotation. Expanded selection to all armors for transmog purposes. Updated Threader Bounty Reset. No longer resets seasonally. Instead, players will earn 1 additional Threader Bounty per class per week. New bounties available each week at weekly reset. Maximum number of available Threader bounties per class is 10. Drifter. Gambit Reputation rank reward track has been restored. Updated Gambit Focusing. Gear additions. Tiered focusing will utilize Gambit engrams. Now includes focusing for all tiered Gambit gear, including new Gambit weapons and armor. Banshee 44 Gunsmith Reputation rank reward track has been restored. Dismantling weapons and armors gives Gunsmith Reputation once again. Updated Gunsmith Focusing now includes shared pool weapons from previous releases, includes tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Hawthorne. Updated clan engrams to give tiered gear. Wow. Nothing else with Hawthorne, though. Hawthorne is still butt cheeks vendor. Save 14 Trials of Osiris Reputation rank reward track has been restored. Updated Trials Focusing now includes focusing for all tiered Trials gear. Gears additions includes tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Focusing will utilize Trials engrams. Saladin, only available during Iron Banner. Updated Iron Banner Focusing now includes focus for all tiered Iron Banner gear. Gear additions includes tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Focusing will utilize Iron Banner ciphers obtained through Iron Banner match completions. Iron Banner will maintain event card and will not see its reputation rank reward track restored. Shax. Crucible Reputation rank reward track has been restored. Updated Crucible Focusing now includes focus for all tiered Crucible and competitive Crucible gear. Gear additions includes geared tier from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, Renegades. Tiered Focusing will utilize Crucible engrams. Competitive Crucible gear will require Crucible ciphers, which can be obtained via competitive Crucible. Zer's Reputation rank reward track has been restored. Purchasing items from Zer grants reputation. Zer's inventory has been updated. New catalyst added to inventory. Tiered armor. Thank goodness I could buy catalysts from his inventory. Thank you. Zavala, Vanguard Reputation rank ward track has been restored. Updated Vanguard Focusing now includes focus tiered for all tiered Solo Ops, Fire Teams Ops, Arena Ops, and Pinnacle Ops gear. Gear additions includes tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, Renegades. Tiered Focusing will utilize Vanguard engrams. Pinnacle Ops and Arena Ops gear will require Vanguard ciphers, which can be obtained via Pinnacle Ops and Arena Ops activities. Nightfall ciphers that players may have in their inventory will automatically be updated to Vanguard ciphers. Rewards from Call to Arms are available to pick up from Zavala for those who have earned but not yet received them. Updated the rotation for weekly Vanguard arms rewards. Destination vendors. Updated gear to be distributed at Tier 3. Whew. Quite a lot, but all the same. Attune anywhere. What does this mean? Attunement now lives in your inventory, accessible anywhere, anytime. No longer will you have to go to a specific vendor to attune what you want from the activities you are playing. Blessed. With a huge amount of new and updated weapons in this release, we wanted to make it seamless for you and your fire team to have greater agency around farming for those god rolls than ever before. Hanging out in orbit or waiting for your friends to get during a break between SRL races, take some time to attune to your favorite weapons across various activity types. Attunement! Sounds good. I'm excited to see what the attunement screen looks like. Attunement exists for the following activities: Distortions, World Drops, Solo Ops, Fireteam Ops, Arena Ops, Pinnacle Ops, Crucible Ops, Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, Gambit, Onslaught, Spare Racing League. Alright, and then here's the screen. Why is it so blurry? Bungie, you couldn't have posted a clearer image? But I understand it. So you get to pick on the activity, and then you get to choose what you want. At any time, players can be attuned to one weapon for each activity type. For example, players can be attuned to Cry Mutiny in Solo Ops, Nightshade in Fireteam Ops, and Better Devils in Crucible Ops at the same time. How nice. How nice of you. Attuning to a weapon means that you will have significantly higher drop chances for that weapon from activity rewards, and will be available for all of the weapons in the active spot loot pools. Good golly, for each of the included activity types, attunement is available for all players with no cost to attune or unattune, with no limits on changing the weapon that you are attuned to. We hope the system helps you find the perfect weapons for your arsenal. That's our Dev Insight article about weapons, the artifact, and how vendors' attunement and focusing will work when the Monument of Triumph update drops on June 9th. We have more to share later today in our TWID, coming in just 2 hours. Stay tuned to find out about what's changing in the Crucible and what new rewards you can get in Pantheon and much more. That's exciting. Holy Dev article. Golly, I think the coolest part of all this, like, sure, there's a lot of like meta changes and things like that, but I think the true meta change has to be the artifact changes. Like, this right here, wild to me. But anyways, thank you all for coming and watching this Dev Insight article. Stay tuned for the TWID that's going to come out in a couple hours. I will be here to make another video. So thank you all for coming and watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want more Destiny. I think during the month of June and the months after, I will be making a lot of Destiny content because I love Destiny and I'm basically just recording my experience playing the last little bit of Destiny because I want that for myself. Like, it's not because like I want to be a content creator for Destiny. It's like I want to have this recorded somewhere to where I can go back and look at my memories on Destiny. And so that's probably what I'm going to be doing for pretty much all of June and the months after, is just going to be recording and just a whole lot of stuff with Destiny. I'm super excited about it.